As he rolled along, on his way to school, Kalen felt something strange, like an odd sense of purpose. At first, he didn't think much of it, but it slowly grew in his mind, until it had consumed all of his attention. It was as if something important was about to happen and he could feel it coming. He skidded to a stop at the corner of a street and stood there for a moment, confused. For some reason, his mind wandered back to his dream, the weird one he had woken up to that morning. It came to him much clearer than before. In fact, he began to remember it quite vividly, almost as if it were a hallucination. And as the dream came into focus, reality faded away. His mind kind of melted into new surroundings, taking him somewhere far away. At first, it was completely dark and unsettling. It was a thick atmosphere that moved slowly, like a black mist flowing and swirling. There was no sense of up or down, no pull of gravity, no point of reference for the senses. There was only that endless, everlasting void. But wisps of darkness, barely distinguishable, had started to spin in synchronicity, as if conducted by an unfelt vortex. Ahead, in the distance, light broke through the smoky whirlpool, its glimmer so faint it might have very well been a mere candle. With what felt like tremendous effort, the light brightened, rays stretching out through the formless obscurity. There was an eerie resistance, as if the darkness wouldn't give in without a fight. Ever slowly, but surely the light grew. It did so until the tension between it and the black mist reached a critical point. Then, suddenly, the invisible barrier broke, and light rushed through abundantly. When the thrashing light settled, a beautiful evening sky took form. There were vibrant yellows and oranges, behind violet clouds, a masterpiece of the heavens. The cheerful ballad of the birds was the perfect seasoning for such a sight. But that sky quickly faded into a mystical obsidian, as if someone had hit the fast-forward button. Stars began to show themselves, twinkling, and the rhythm changed into a jazzy chant, as crickets took over the show. The lazy summer breeze hastened, whistling through the sinuous trees that danced to the tunes of sundown. There was something in the air, intangible, yet undeniable. The atmosphere was heavy, as if overburdened with fateful momentum. Amongst the stars in the sky, one did not belong. Uncharacteristically, it neither twinkled nor remained still. In fact, it cruised past its peers quite expeditiously, leaving a wispy trail in its wake. As it came down from the heavens, it grew in size. Distinct features became discernible: wings, a small sharp nose, and a metallic hull. Obviously, it was not a heavenly body at all, but a vessel, a small flying machine, a speedster. The distant hum of its internal apparatus grew into a powerful zing. The crickets went silent as it neared the ground. It was not as loud and unrefined as a jet engine. No, this was an elegant piece of machinery, swerving majestically through the treetops. Its design, reminiscent of a bird of prey, a hawk. It moved as if it were alive, with numerous moving parts. The craft reared up slightly, slowing down on approach to its destination, a circular stone-laid courtyard near the edge of a cliff. The ocean waves crashed vigorously into the rocks below, adding to the natural orchestra. Bright yellow lights adorned the rim of the landing site, making it plainly visible to incoming visitors. Neatly trimmed trees flanked the courtyard on either side, a clear sign of careful maintenance. The lights revealed the hawk ship's emerald and ebony livery, with delicate golden lines. As the vessel began its landing procedure, it slowly became first translucent, and then transparent. Within moments, it had evanesced completely, revealing the graceful form of the woman that was inside. An orb on her chest was beaming with a powerful light, its glow fading as her landing came to an end. From her black-skin tight suit, threads sprung out and interweaved, forming a long and majestic green robe, with golden rims. The helmet she wore melted away, releasing her beautiful golden hair into the cool wind. Her eyes, scintillating emeralds, overflowed with will and wisdom. The instant her feet touched the ground, she slid seamlessly into a stride, heading directly towards the passage between the pompous trees. Beyond them was a colossal structure, a building of some kind, towering over the forest. It looked completely alien in design, unlike anything any human had ever built. The strange construction was very sleek, with harsh diagonal lines and intricate geometrical detailings, giving it an advanced, technological feel. Yet, at the same time, there was something very old about it, as if it had stood there for centuries. Though it was truly a sight to behold, she gave it little notice. At the entrance, a servant serenely awaited her arrival. Upon closer inspection, the servant revealed himself to be a puppet of sorts, a wooden mannequin. Though he wore clothes and looked like a man from a distance, on his wooden face, he displayed only a pair of glowing yellow eyes. He bowed, welcoming her respectfully, and, with a wave of his hand, commanded the double doors open. The woman proceeded into the structure. After walking down a tall corridor that seemed fit for giants, she arrived at a great hall, with more diagonal lines along the walls. Beautifully sculpted chandeliers, hanging from the ceiling, illuminated the place. At the opposite end of the chamber from the door, was a majestic altar, with 3 floating chairs. In those chairs, sat 3 hooded figures. They remained motionless, awaiting their newly arrived guest. When the blonde woman reached them, they rose from their seats. Though they did not reveal their faces, it was clear to see they were not made of wood, but flesh and bone. The woman greeted them kindly, "Good evening, ladies." The one in the middle replied, "Welcome back, my lady. We trust your trip was free of incident, as we have foreseen." She replied distractedly, "Yes, of course." Tapping her wrist, she made the robe come alive and morph into a large floating armchair. She sat in it and crossed her long curvy legs. After making herself comfortable, she asked, "So, what do you have for me?" The 3 maidens sat back down, and the one on the left replied suggestively, "More than we can disclose in one breath." They each spoke in turn, as if their minds were one and the same. "Our sightless eyes have seen many things these past few days: confusion, strife, darkness. We have found some answers, but many new questions as well. Such is the nature of foresight. Always, the future offers crossroads, paths, choices. Tonight, a crucial decision will be made. And it will be made by you, Lady Kayla. This is a defining moment in time, a point after which there will be no return. For many nights," continued another maiden, "we have studied the visions presented to us. Though they are still scattered and unclear, we have made a breakthrough. There are new developments, separate for now, but on a converging course." Lady Kayla quickly inquired, "Converging? How so?" The hooded maidens elaborated. "There was a ripple in the ether, an event powerful enough to alter the very fabric of time, to create new paths through the weave of destiny. Though it distorted our sight, it also gave us glimpses of clarity. We believe the pawns with which this game will play out have been revealed to us. Though there are many, 5 stand above the others." 5. She echoed, "Always that number. There must be some kind of significance to it." After a quick moment, she snapped out of her odd reverie and nodded at the maidens to continue. Though they seemed to be blind, somehow they knew to proceed. The youth, the tome, the beast, the shadow, and the quill. These are the 5 pawns in this game of fates. Unfortunately, we could not uncover the youth's likeness. It is most likely they have not yet ascended. Regardless, this youth will be the centerpiece, around which all will orbit. Of this we are certain. The hooded maidens switched speakers again. "The tome is an article of alluring power, corrupted and perilous. We suspect it is an ancient relic of sorts, hidden away in times long past. Now it has been rediscovered by an old friend of yours, a keeper of runes." The blonde woman guessed instantly to whom they were referring, Volland. "You have got to be kidding. What is it with that sly old drake? He keeps crossing my path again and again." The maidens agreed, "Indeed. Though he is powerful and wise, he has not yet deciphered the tome. It is shrouded in darkness. Though we cannot foresee its purpose, it is clear it is somehow related to the beast. The exact nature of this relationship is uncertain. This creature, whatever it may be, is the most elusive pawn. We see a loyal and cunning servant, perhaps a familiar, but its intention, its location, and even its form. It is all a mystery to us." Lady Kayla sighed and commented, "I see what you mean by many new questions. 5 pawns appear out of nowhere, and we know close to nothing about them." True, they conceded. Still, wisdom suggests where there is a servant, there must be a master. Though we were unable to sense anything of the sort, the answer may lay within the shadow. It is an impenetrable darkness, unnaturally devoid of light. "That sounds awfully like the void," she pointed out grimly. "I don't suppose you can confirm that." They replied simply, "We cannot." Lady Kayla sat there thinking to herself in silence. A tome. A servant. A master hidden in darkness. This reminds me of something I saw a long time ago. I wonder. After a moment, she looked back up at the 3 foreseers and said, "Go on." They did so. "Both the tome and the beast are drawn to the youth and the youth to them." "Ah, I see," said Lady Kayla, in a tone of realization. "So, this tome must have already been opened or activated, which in turn awoke the beast, and now our dear youth is at risk." The 3 maidens hesitated for the first time, as if taken aback. Then one of them finally said, "We cannot see this to be so." Lady Kayla smiled at them, in a slightly patronizing manner, and proceeded to explain. "If this tome is such an important relic, an ancient relic, surely just touching it might cause a ripple like the one you mentioned. Wouldn't you agree?" Realizing the obvious connection they had completely overlooked, they said, "It would indeed, my lady." "That's why this all happened at once," she continued. "It's a chain reaction. Lord Valen found the tome and somehow activated it. Now the beast is loose and seeking the youth. Obviously, that isn't a good thing, because if it were, we wouldn't be on a collision course with an impenetrable darkness," she deduced, with a frustrated huff. "What about this fifth pawn? The quill?" "We believe the quill to be you, my lady," they informed her happily. "We have foreseen it. Your decisions will shape the future, just as they have done before." "A quill, am I?" she considered, with a sly smirk. "I suppose it's rather fitting. It's always been my goal to write my own story. The gods know I've been at this for so long now. It almost seems like a dream fading away into." She trailed off, lost in memories. After a short while, the maidens broke her reverie. "We were never quite able to foresee your decisions, my lady. Have you already made your choice?" The woman looked at them curiously. "You'll know soon enough." "Is that all then? No other revelations for tonight?" "No, my lady, that is all," they answered. "Very well," Lady Kayla accepted, casually stretching her arms over her head and cracking her knuckles, "finding that youth is top priority for you three. Is that understood? We can't allow the tome to get there first." "Yes, of course, my lady," they acknowledged, with a respectful nod. "Keep me posted on any further revelations," she appended before rising sharply from her robe chair. The three maidens mirrored her action, standing with her. "As you wish, my lady." The woman then flicked her wrist, and her robe went back to its more natural dangling form. Without another word, she nodded to the maidens, turned on her heel and walked out the door. She did so with considerably less haste than when she had entered. She seemed lost in thought all the way out to the courtyard. And, when she got there, she didn't immediately blast off into the heavens in her hawkship form. For a long moment, she just stood there, pondering. Then she smiled softly and thought to herself, "Unbelievable. Valen of all people. If I do this right, it might just turn out even better than I had planned." Gazing gleefully up to the stars above, she opened her arms, leapt gracefully into the air and took flight. As Lady Kayla disappeared into the stars from whence she came, a black mist began to swirl in the shadows, behind the trees. The lights faded. Soon the courtyard began to lose form, and once again the darkness was everywhere. After a while, there was only silence, no longer any sense of up or down. There was nothing.